Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another live stream and all your latest Chelsea news. Paris is calling. The Champions League is back and we are facing PSG in that first leg of the last 16 tomorrow night in a massive game. We've got all the latest in the build up to that, all the team news. We've got the new latest with Levi Colwill back in team training today. Chelsea still believe in Liam Delap as well, despite question marks over his future over a really disappointing season to date so far. Oh, really? How are we lagging again? Oh my God, it's looking absolutely horrendous. Jesus Christ. Bear with me, chat. Bear with me. I'm going to switch this Wi-Fi. Right. Are we back in the game, chat? Are we back in the game? It looks like we might be a bit better. Still not great, but yeah, well, fucking hell. Why is it suddenly so shit? I think we're back now. Are we good? Chat, are we good? Yeah, I think we're good now. I think we're back in the game. Anyway, big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you're smashing the likes. Make sure you subscribe if you're new round here as well. That would be greatly appreciated. Yep, we're back in the game. We are back in the game. Fantastic news. Don't know what was going on there. But we are now back in the game. Wonderful stuff. Anyway, before we get into it, a quick reminder as always, people, make sure you check out Jerseys FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off. Got all your Chelsea kits, your retro kits, World Cup jerseys, other club kits, other retro jerseys. You can see I think I've got a 2011, 2012 Neymar Santos top on. So yeah, guys, make sure you check them out. Great quality, affordable prices. Use code BLUEBROTHER for 20% off at Jerseys FC Soccer Shop. Link is in the description. That is enough about that, guys. Let's see what you lot are saying in the chat, and then let's get this show on the road. Okay, what are people saying? Yes, big up to you, bro. Colwill back. Again, we'll get into that, but I think we need to relax. He's not going to play for a number of weeks. He might not even play this season still, but it's good to see him back with the boys anyway. What else have we got coming in? Yes, big up to you, bro. Smash the likes. Sanchez trash. He's been good this season. Last couple of games have not been great, but I'm the first one to criticize Sanchez, but he's actually been good this season. So I think we've got to be fair where it's due. Sanchez was good this season. Yeah, no, we're good now. We're good. I don't know when Colwill's going to be back playing games. I've got no idea. But what I would say is I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. I think you're going to be looking at probably at least another 5-6 weeks. Could be more. Could easily be more than another 5-6 weeks. Yes, big up to you, bro. Big up to you. Did he cost us the Arsenal game in the league? I don't think so. That was on Fofana's poor marking and Caicedo getting sent off. Definitely, yeah. I'll give you the Carabao Cup first leg. I'll give you the league game at the Emirates, but the second leg of the Carabao Cup and the league game at Stamford Bridge, that's not on him. That absolutely isn't on him. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's start with the news from last night then from Kaveh Solokol at Sky, because there's been quite a lot of noise around Liam Delap and obviously how disappointing he's been this season following his £30 million move from Ipswich last summer. And he's saying on Sky Sports News last night that Chelsea still believe in Liam Delap. And behind the scenes, they feel he's been unlucky with injuries. To an extent, yeah, he obviously missed a large part of the first half of the season with a hamstring problem. And then he missed a few games with a shoulder issue that he picked up away at Bournemouth in that goalless draw. But outside of that, he's been largely available. The message from inside the club is that you have to back him and give him a bit more time because he's still young. Now, he is still young. He's 23 years of age. which is not old by any stretch of the imagination, but you're coming towards the bracket of not being a young player anymore, not being a young player. He's been really disappointing. I was quite looking forward to seeing Delap this season. I think he did pretty well at Ipswich last season. I think got 12 goals in the league in a side that went down. Obviously playing very different style of football on the transition, counter-attack football, a lot of space in behind. A lot of his goals were scored in that way. And obviously coming to Chelsea, we don't tend to play like that. It's a totally different way of doing things. But he's been so bad. I've got to be really honest. I wasn't expecting 15, 20 goals or anything like that. I was expecting maybe 10, 12 goals in the league. He's going to get nowhere near that. Yes, you can point to the fact that he's missed a few games. I hear it. But every time he's played, he's just looked terrible. There's a handful of games I can say where Delap was good. He was good when he came on away at Man City with McFarlane in charge and we got the 1-0. He was good in that game. I think he had a decent game away at Fulham, but we lost 2-1. He scored his only Premier League goal in that game. Outside of those two games, I'm struggling to remember Delap having a decent game or making a decent impact. Yeah, okay, he came off the bench and got the third goal against Barcelona in that 3-0 win at Stamford Bridge. But you're going through it. He's got 2 goals in 28, 29 appearances. He's just done nothing this season. He has just done nothing. And I think it's fair to say that the step up has been way too big for him. The step up's been way too big for him, chat. Way too big for him. And you can look at Nicholas Jackson, and in his first season, I think, what did Nicholas Jackson get in his first season? Was it 14? Yeah, 14 Premier League goals. What I would say, and we've got to be fair here, Jackson was playing week in, week out, didn't really get any injuries in that first season, and he was the first choice. Delap's had a couple of injury problems, and he's not been first choice because João Pedro is the first choice. But having said that, Jackson was miles clear of Delap, miles clear of him. And I'm not saying that Delap won't be a success here. I'm not saying that he's not a good footballer. And I'm always hesitant to write players off after one season because you see what happened with Cucurella. I think after the first season, the majority of Chelsea fans would have been happy if he'd left. I'm not going to give up on someone after one season, but the evidence that we've seen so far, this guy's not it. He just isn't it. Just basic things are not going well. Finishing is poor. His touch is not good. Just generally speaking, he's just not very involved in games. Wrexham was a real opportunity for him. And I know, obviously, there are 9 changes and you're playing with a team that hasn't played together and it's a disjointed performance and all of that stuff. And I hear it. But on the evidence that we've seen so far this season, he's not good enough for Chelsea. Genuinely, he's not good enough for Chelsea. Like if João Pedro got injured, you're in serious trouble. We would be in serious trouble. And I want to give him. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I want to give him more time. I want to give him another season, 100%. But if we get to January, if we get to Christmas next season and nothing's really changed and we're still seeing the same old nonsense, then he will have to be moved on. And Chelsea, for all the criticism of Chelsea, and rightly so in terms of signings, in terms of the way that we're run, in terms of all these things, one thing that we do is that we don't hold on to players for too long. We don't hold on to players for too long. If they're not feeling a player, that player will be moved on very, very quickly. To be honest, bro, Guiu's not much better either. He played, an hour against Wrexham? Barely noticed him on the pitch. Admittedly, it's his first minutes in a while, but still, he's not of the level required. Delap so far is not of the level required either. And And people saying get rid of him. Look, I hear it and I understand it. The problem is that who are we going to sign? Who is going to come in? Because Delap was basically the main striker signing. Pedro wasn't signed to be a 9. He was signed as that Nkunku replacement, that versatile forward option. And we've kind of lucked in that he's done really well at number 9. But there's no way the original plan was for João Pedro to be signed as a 9. He was signed as that versatile forward, that Nkunku replacement. And we stumbled across him being a good 9 and doing very well there. Delap was signed as that main number 9. He was given the number 9 shirt. So this so far has been a big failure. And look, fine, I wouldn't lose any sleep if Delap was moved on at the end of the season. I wouldn't be sat here disappointed about it or anything like that. Obviously, we're disappointed it didn't work out because you always want signings to work out. But I would look at it and I would be like, who on earth are we going to get in? Who on earth are we going to get in? Because if Delap was their idea of like a main centre forward signing in the last summer, then God forbid what we might end up with this. And they've already signed Emmanuel Omega, who again, is Omega better than Delap? Maybe he is, but is there a massive difference, a massive gulf in class between Emmanuel Omega and Liam Delap? I'm not too sure if there is. I'm really not too sure. So Omega's coming in the summer. Jackson will return, but obviously I think the first choice is to move him on. In an ideal situation, you have, for me personally, you'd go Jackson, you go Jackson, Omega, and João Pedro, and Jackson can kind of drift in from the left as well, and be an option for us there. That's something that I would that I wouldn't be too against whatsoever. No, bro, it's nothing to do. It's nothing to do with being hard to replace. The issue is that given the type of players that we're recruiting, given the signings that we've been making in the past couple of windows, is that there's no guarantees whatsoever that we are going to sign someone who is better. You know, of course, there's better out there. That's not the point I'm making. My point is that I don't trust these guys to go and sign anyone that's actually better, given their recent track record. Guys, we're 70 in the building, only 28 likes. Please keep smashing that like button. It's free. Run it up. It takes seconds to do. So make sure you smash that like button. Just quickly close the live chat. Smash the likes. Get this well up above 50 and subscribe if you are new round here as well. So yeah, run the likes up, people. It really helps me out. So please do that. Why did we sign an Ipswich striker to lead the line? Bro, JP wasn't the main guy. He wasn't signed as a number 9. Pedro was the Nkunku replacement, and Liam Delap was an alternative option for Nicholas Jackson. But Jackson obviously left, and it ended up kind of Delap being the main guy, Pedro being someone who can play there. John Duran, I think that boat has sailed, unfortunately, with that. The geezers, went to Saudi for 6 months, and he went to Fenerbahce for 6 months, and now he's spending 6 months at Zenit St. Petersburg. I don't know what's going on there. Garnacho has actually been... I've got no issue with Garnacho as a squad player. I haven't got a problem with Garnacho as a squad player. We just need someone top quality. If you had Semenyo on that left-hand side with Garnacho backing him up as a rotation option, I've got no issue there. You've had Morgan Rogers signed with Garnacho being an option off that left side to drift in. No problem. But Garnacho, for me, he's done well in the last 2 games. He's made an impact, and that's what we want to see more of. But for me, Garnacho needs to be one of those where he's backing up someone of top quality. Bro, Palmer's not been playing 10. Palmer's barely played 10 under Rossignol. He's been playing wide right. You would have had Palmer and Pedro as your options as 10s. Pedro playing as a 10 with Palmer on the right-hand side. JP would be playing as a 10, playing as a 9 on occasions as well. But in my opinion, Pedro wasn't signed as the main number 9. because he's not an out-and-out striker. Now, obviously, he's shown that he is a good centre forward, but at the time when we signed him, for me personally, it didn't look like he's an out-and-out striker. In my opinion, he was signed as that Nkunku, Joao Felix replacement, probably more of an Nkunku replacement. That's what I'm saying. Esteval, yeah, Esteval, bro. You got to remember, Esteval's 18 years old, just come to the league. He wasn't going to be playing loads of minutes. You're playing in four different competitions, injuries, rotation. There's plenty of minutes to go around, plenty of minutes. And imagine making the changes for games like Wrexham and having an Esteval playing and having, maybe a Joao Pedro starting that game. This is the quality that we need. Yeah, sure, he can say that, but in my opinion, I don't think he was signed as the main number 9. I think he was signed as the Nkunku replacement to be that versatile attacker. I'm not saying that he wasn't signed and there was no plan for him to be a 9, but I don't think there was an out-and-out clear indication that he was going to be the main 9. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Bro, there is no Champions League draw today. The Champions League draw happened last week. The Champions League draw happened over a week ago. I'm not sure where you've got that from. Yeah, look, he certainly did a bit. I don't think it helped having Delap. Although when Delap and Pedro played together, when Palmer got injured in the warm-up in that West Ham game at the start of the season, we beat him 5-1 at the London Stadium. Delap led the line and Pedro played off him, and it was very good. It was very good. I mean, look, obviously, with the form that Joao Pedro is in right now, then, yeah, of course, he's going to be the starting 9. Easy. Light work to be a starting 9 right now. Who would have been a better 9 signing as a 9? Bro, we should have gone in for Ekitike. That would have been great to have Ekitike. Look at this absolute fraud in the chat. Guys, we've got a fraud alert in the chat. Eden Hazard or LB, choose one. You are a shameless brother. You really are. I'll see you on Thursday afternoon, bro. Obviously, I'm going to choose Eden Hazard, bro. Eden Hazard. You don't see me with what we got here? Hassan, you don't see me with no LB shirt, but what you do see is Mr. Eden Hazard. Better than Mohamed Salah. So if you're asking me, it's Eden Hazard over LB. But brother, you just make sure, by the way, you make sure that you beat Galatasaray tonight, because once we've knocked out PSG, we're running back the early 2000s, and we need revenge for that ghost goal, for the ghost goal that we were cheated of. Yes, bro. I'm going out tomorrow morning, and I'll be back Thursday morning early doors. I'm going to get back Thursday morning like 9 or 10 a.m. So you don't need to ask me if I'm going to be there on Thursday afternoon. I will be there. Don't worry, bro. I'm there. Yeah, but bro, if someone's your top target, at the end of the day, you have to realize that sometimes it's better to pay more money and get who you want than pay less money and go for a worse player or a second or third choice. That's what we have to understand. Bro, proper Barclays, but you just make sure that you beat Galatasaray, bro. I know Victor Osimhen's got something for you. Austin's got something for you. Who else is in their sort of Premier League old boys team? Torreira, Leroy Sané. Leroy Sané's got something for you. I would say we'd see you at Wembley in the FA Cup semi-finals or final. But unfortunately, bro, LB's boys are going to slap you up in the quarterfinals at the Etihad, and you won't be making that trip to Wembley. Or what is it? What is it you like to call it? Anfield South, is it? Yeah. So we'll have to make do with seeing you in the Champions League quarterfinals. We're going to do our job, bro. You just make sure you do your job. Yeah, 100%. I think we can knock PSG out. PSG are not the same PSG that they were last season. They're nowhere near the same PSG they were last season. Of course, the knockout phase is different. They've got world-class players. They've got players who can cause you all sorts of problems, but they also leave space. They're going to give us opportunities, and we've got players who can cause big, big problems. You know, if given the space, we've shown that we can cause damage to teams. 100%. Early kickoff 5:45. Yeah, that's Leverkusen Arsenal tonight. Yes, I'm going to the first leg. I'll be going out tomorrow. I kind of wish I was going out today, but I'll be going out. I'll be going out tomorrow. Oh yeah, at the moment, yeah, absolutely at the moment. Calvert-Lewin having a better season. Big up to you, bro. All good. Anyway, look, I think Delap does warrant another season, but it also equally would not surprise me. It equally would not surprise me if Delap did leave in the summer. I'm not saying that he is going to, but we've seen it before with Chelsea. They'll make a signing, they've not done well, and then we'll look to move them on very quickly. That's not an outrageous. That wouldn't be an outrageous thing to happen. I don't think any of us would be surprised if we did look to move Liam Delap on. But let's wait and see what happens. Let's hope that he can finish the season strongly, and take some sort of confidence and whatnot. But at the moment, it's just looking like the step up's too big for him. And I think going from Ipswich to Chelsea has been too big. It has been too big a step up. He would have been better off going to an Everton, a Newcastle, an Aston Villa, that sort of a club, 2-3 seasons there to develop. And then maybe if you perform there, then take the step to a Chelsea, a Liverpool, a Man United, or whatever it might be. That step for me is this step from Ipswich to Chelsea. It's been too big. It's been too big. Chat, keep smashing the likes. We're only on 40 likes with 100 odd in the building. Run it up. Run it up. There's disgraceful likes ratio. Disgraceful likes ratio. So let's get that up, people. And keep subscribing if you're new around here as well. The lap to Strasbourg. Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. We have to. We have to. Look, there is upside, but I wouldn't say he's got too much upside. I wouldn't say it's been too much upside. Yeah, bro, the chat are moving like the lap conversion rate with the likes. They absolutely are, bro. They absolutely are. So look, let's see what happens with the lap. Hopefully he finishes the season strongly. But right now, the only minutes he's going to get are bench minutes, and he'll start against Port Vale in the cup. Otherwise, JP's leading the line, and he's playing every game. He's leading the line. He's playing every game because he's that important to us, and he's the most informed player in the Premier League in 2026. Most informed player. Most informed player in the Premier League. So he's going to be starting every game. Simple as that. So, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, we're going to move away from that Liam Delap stuff. We're going to move away from it. Well, it depends how many points you've got, bro. It depends how many loyalty points you have. That'll be a better idea. Yeah, that's what I do, but we've already signed Omega, so I don't see how there's going to be any space for Jackson. In all honesty, I don't see how there's going to be any space for him. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with that one. Oh, I wouldn't go that far. Anyway, let's move away from that. Let's get on to matters at hand. Actually, we're going to go through just a little something because Chelsea co-owner Jose Feliciano has been speaking at a Bloomberg convention or business summit or whatever you want to call it. And he doesn't speak very often. But he said, we take very seriously that Chelsea have been a top 6 in the Premier League. Bro, we've been more than a top 6. We've been a top 3, top 4. But we intend to not only stay there, but we intend to compete for trophies every year. We intend to win the Premier League someday soon. Well, thank you for that. That's very reassuring. Yeah, we intend to win the Premier League at some point. So we don't know when, but we do intend to do that. We would like to do that. That is kind of in our thoughts. We're not doing very much about getting any closer to doing it, but yeah, we might get round to that. We might fancy a go at it at some point. And I think the reality is that we have put in place a much more sustainable system in terms of players, in terms of kind of development that I think is yielding results right now. Brother, I have to be honest, what results is it yielding right now? We are 5th in the Premier League. We're in a battle to make Champions League football. We've won no domestic silverware since 2018. Now, admittedly, that period's not all on you. We're staring down the barrel of 1 Champions League qualification in 4 years if we were to miss out this year. Bro, this is not yielding results. Anyone could have won the Conference League last season with Chelsea in it. Club World Cup, fantastic. But bro, we're nowhere in the league. We've been absolutely nowhere in the league under this ownership. We've been nowhere in the league for 8 years. 8 years we've been nowhere in the Premier League. What sustainable system have we got in terms of players? Because all we're doing is buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. There's nothing sustainable about the squad or the players that we've got. What's sustainable about that? But don't worry though, guys, because we intend to we intend to win the Premier League one day. One day we intend. It's not exactly what you want to hear, is it? It's not exactly what you want to hear. And it's a real strange one. At least when Bowley speaks at these kind of things, you can sort of understand what he's saying. You can kind of understand where he's coming from. But this, we've always been a top 6. We intend to win the Premier League someday soon. It's just kind of so blasé, so sort of relaxed about it. Yeah, we plan to we plan to win it someday soon. Yeah, someday soon we'll do something about that. It's mental. It's really strange. Really strange. I'm just not really getting it, to be honest. I'm not really getting it, chat. But those are Feliciano's comments. I don't know what he is. I think maybe he's Latin American or Spanish or something. But anyway, that's what he's had to say, chat. That is what he has had to say. It's not exactly anything groundbreaking. Yeah, someday soon I'll be a millionaire. Well, I don't know when. I intend to be a millionaire someday. And I've put in place a sustainable system to get there. But I don't know when that day is going to be. But there we go. Anyway, let's switch our focus to PSG. Now, there were concerns because Reece James wasn't pictured in training yesterday, but all is good. All is good because the captain, RJ24, in live training today. Chelsea had an open training session at Cobham, 11:15 this morning UK time, and Reece James, there he is, pictured in training. He's in training. He will travel to Paris. He will play. And that's obviously a huge boost for us. I personally, we'll get into this later on, I personally would play him in midfield. That's what I would. That's what I'd look to do. That's what I would choose to do. Play him in midfield alongside Caicedo, with Andre Santos on the bench. Let's wait and see what does happen with that. But Reece back in training, excellent news. Also, there was no Esteval in training, but Reece back, and Levi Colwill back in team training as well, which is a very pleasant surprise. One that we certainly weren't expecting, chat. One that we certainly weren't expecting. Levi Colwill back in training. Let me just find the picture now. And this doesn't mean, by the way, that he's anywhere near a match day squad or anything like that. We don't even know if he took part in the full session or anything like that. But it's a real positive to see him back out there after, you know, the ACL injury. But there he is, Levi Colwill, back out, taking part in team training. Now, I don't know whether he took part in the full session, whether he took part in part of the session, how far along the line he is in terms of his rehab. But I expect that you see players come back to training after an ACL injury and they probably still need 5-6 weeks of training. He's not played since July. Probably needs 5-6 weeks of training easily. And I think we've got to realise as well, chat, that when you come back from an injury like this, it can take a long time to get back to the level. It can take a long time to get back to the level required. Please don't expect Colwill to be playing in a match for another 6 to 8 weeks. You know, training is one thing, but being match fit, being match ready, that's a completely different situation. It's the complete opposite. And look, maybe don't expect Colwill to reach back to his peak form until next year, until 2027. You know, it's going to be a slow comeback. He won't be at top form instantly. He'll look rusty. He'll probably make a few mistakes. But don't write him off a short way into his comeback. Be patient and back him. That's all I'll say. But this is a really important situation. I don't think he'll play this season, personally. Unfortunately, bro, no Steve-O. No Steve-O in training. I still think it's too early for Steve-O. Maybe we see Steve-O in action against Newcastle. Maybe Steve-O makes the squad for Newcastle. I don't know. But no Steve-O in the open training today. No Steve-O in open training today. Chat, keep smashing the likes as well, by the way. Run it up. We're over 120 in the building now. So make sure you're smashing the like button, people. Smash the like button. We're 56 likes. Run it up. No, I don't think he will. I mean, look, people, you could say Port Vale, maybe he comes off the bench or something, but even Port Vale, that's what, 3 weeks away? That for me, not going to be, that we're not going to be ready for that. We're not going to be ready for that. Yes, big up to you, bro. But yeah, this was a nice surprise, a very nice surprise. Something that I don't think any of us were expecting. But other than that, I think we've got, obviously Colwill still absent, but other than Esteval, everyone else is available, I think. Obviously, Gittins has been back in training for a while. I think Gittins will be in the squad for the PSG game. So that's also good, chat. So really, the only absentees we're going to have is Colwill, who's long term, and then Esteval. Other than that, I think everybody else is going to be available, which, when you come into the business end of the season, we're still competing on, we've still got 3 competitions to go for. I know we're not going for the Premier League title, but we still got a situation we need to take care of in the Premier League. And yeah, you know, to have a fully fit squad outside of Steve and Colwill is very, very good. When did Steve get injured? I can't remember. But there was no Steve for, I think Steve's missed the last 3 or 4 games. No, I think he wasn't in the squad for Arsenal. I can't remember which game it would have been, or maybe it was something in training, or whether it's something you just felt in towards the end of the game. But no Steve, and Steve obviously we've got the Rossini press conference at 6 p.m. tonight. Yeah, maybe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, but Steve's definitely missed the last 3 or 4 games, which is not ideal. Which is absolutely not ideal. Steve has definitely missed the last 3 or 4 games. Yeah, but bro, did he pull out? Yeah, but was that a game he was a sub? Because if he felt something, then he probably wouldn't have started that game. And I don't remember any games where Steve pulled out of a starting lineup during the warm up. I don't remember that. But yeah, no Steve. Everyone else fit and available. I don't know if the boys are flying out to Paris tonight, or whether they're going tomorrow. I presume they go tonight, although Paris is only an hour flight from London. It's only an hour flight, or if you go on the train, it's a couple hours. I don't know if the boys will go on Eurostar. They'll probably fly. It's like an hour and 10 flight, so very, very close to London. It's a 9 p.m. game local time. I don't really think there's any need for them to go tonight or today. But at the same time, do you really want to be... Oh, they've already gone. But at the same time, do you really want to be traveling on game day? Probably not. But yeah, no, they've gone already. Fair enough. You know what I can't wait for? Levi to come back and show you all that he's an average defender. Bro, no one's saying he's Saliba level, but he's not average. I've not come across anyone who said that he's Saliba level. Bro, they won't, because they already had opportunities to sell Colwill. They had opportunities to sell him when he was at Brighton. Brighton made offers. Liverpool were very interested. There were opportunities to sell Colwill, and they didn't. I'm the first one to criticise this ownership and stick it on them and whatnot. But they could have sold Colwill. They've had multiple opportunities to sell Colwill, and they've chosen not to. So I will defend them on that front, because they could have easily sold him. So I don't think they will. But yeah, this is a big week, chat, because it's the PSG game and then the Newcastle game. This is a huge week. And this PSG game, like I do feel confident, chat, and it feels weird. It feels weird. Yeah, bro, it's nothing to do with his defending. Look, the start of last season, he wasn't great. But he was absolutely vital over the end of the season and through the Club World Cup. Genuinely, if he'd been available this season, I don't think we're in as big a battle for the top 5 as we currently are. I'm not saying we'd be loads of points better off, but I'm saying it would be more comfortable than it currently is. I'm saying it would be more comfortable, in my opinion. Yeah, exactly, bro. This is what I don't get. I'm the first one to criticise players and they've not been playing well, or they've cost us points or whatever. But we all know that Colwill wasn't great over the first half of last season. But the second half of last season, he was fantastic. Through the Club World Cup, he was fantastic. And you're noticing, without him in the team, how much more difficult things have been for us. And things have been a lot more difficult. Chat, keep smashing the likes. We're 133 in the building, only 61 likes. What is this Delap level of likes to viewers ratio, chat? This should be on 100 likes. Come on, people. Smash the like button. Quickly close the chat down. It really helps me out. It helps boost us in the YouTube algorithm. So make sure you run those likes up, people. Run those likes up. Yeah, potentially we would be. But Colwill back in training. But as I said, chat, don't expect him to be playing any appearances for a good 5 or 6 weeks. A good 5 or 6 weeks. Don't expect anything. Don't expect anything. But in terms of the PSG game itself, Chelsea and PSG have played each other 9 times. 3 wins for Chelsea, 3 wins for PSG, 3 draws, which is quite something, and basically an identical record for all of us. This is the first time that we've obviously faced them since 2015-2016 season, and we knocked them out that year. Demba Ba scored under Jose Mourinho. But this is going to be a tough game. We beat them in the summer. This is a totally different game to the summer. Different manager, different team to a certain extent, different stage of the season. Both teams are in a different position to what they were back in the summer. PSG have got defensive issues. We also have defensive issues. PSG, you would say, have got more talented players than us. Absolutely. Certainly from an attacking point of view. I know Pedro's playing very well. I know Cole Palmer is top draw. But if you look at Kvaratskhelia, Ousmane Dembele, Desiree Doué, Barcola, these are serious ballers, chat. These are serious ballers. No Fabian Ruiz is a blow for them in midfield, but João Neves, Vitinha, who I think is an outstanding player. And then Warren Zaire-Emery will probably play instead of Fabian Ruiz. Zaire-Emery is not exactly a terrible player either. Defensively, it's a toss-up, really. You've got probably the 4 best fullbacks in Europe in Reece James, Achraf Hakimi, Nuno Mendes, and Cucurella. And then centre-backs is a toss-up, really. Goalkeepers, I think we've got the better goalkeeper. I think Sanchez, if he plays, is better than Safanov. And Jorgensen, there's not a huge difference in the goalkeeping departments. Midfield is fairly level. So yeah, look, the attack is where I'd say there's the biggest difference in terms of they've got a lot more game changers, a lot more match winners than we do in attack, despite the fact that we've got Pedro and Palmer, the likes of Dembele. Barcola is very good. Desiree Doué is a player I absolutely love. I think he's top class. Massive fan of Desiree Doué. So yeah, these are all things that we need to think about, chat. All things that we need to think about. I don't know if Dembele wants to move. Maybe Enrique will leave at the end of the season. I'm not sure, but we shouldn't be underestimating PSG. They're the defending champions. Last season, they had a terrible group stage. They had a terrible league phase campaign, and then they won in the playoff round against Man City, and then they went from strength to strength, and they were unbelievable. The fact that the French league is not wrapped up is a bit of a problem for them. But Enrique's a top-class manager. This is where the big players will come alive. Champions League knockouts, big night in the Parc des Princes. It'll be a huge atmosphere. Yeah, bro. We were interested at the time we was at Rennes, but obviously for young French players, it's very difficult to turn down PSG. That's kind of the logical next step. If you're in France, you're a young French player, take that step to Paris Saint-Germain, and then obviously you go from there. Bro, he's not going to start tossing. It'll be Fofana and Chalobah. Fofana and Chalobah will be in this game, and then that's obviously we do have the momentum. We do have momentum. Obviously, we beat Wrexham. We beat Villa as well. Obviously, PSG, they lost to Monaco 3-1 on Friday night. Not the ideal preparation. Confidence is low. Those were the words that Luis Enrique used. Bro, I honestly, look, I could be wrong, right? But I genuinely don't believe we'll lose tomorrow. I'm not saying we'll win, but I genuinely don't believe we'll lose. I genuinely don't think we'll lose. And people might think that's deluded, and that's fair enough. That's your opinion, but I don't think we'll lose. I don't think we'll lose. I don't think PSG are all that. I really don't think they're all that, chat. So no, I don't really feel those nerves with Fofana. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Chat, 30 likes to go to 100. Keep smashing the likes. Bro, I'm not sure what win you're looking forward to tonight because we're playing tomorrow night. So, yeah, I mean, if the game was tonight, I'd be concerned because I'm going to be going to Paris. And there we go. He's corrected himself. That's fine. As long as the defense doesn't do anything stupid, I'm confident we get a result. PSG have not been great this season. I agree, bro. I agree. You know, if we're just on it defensively, then I think we've got the players who can cause problems and who will cause problems. So I don't think we've got anything to be feeling. Obviously, we're not going to underestimate. We're not going to, you know, think this is light work or anything like that. But they're definitely there for the taking. There's definitely big opportunities. They are 100% there for the taking. 100% they're there for the taking, chat. My only worry is us Sanchez. Well, to be honest, bro, I don't even know if Sanchez will play. You know, Jorgensen wasn't even in the squad against Wrexham, so maybe he plays instead. I don't know. I'm sure Rossini will be asked about the goalkeeping situation in the presser tonight. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure he absolutely will be asked about that. Yeah, we get the draw tomorrow. Yeah, no, bro, all good, all good. It should be fine. It should be fine. It should be fine. I don't think there'll be any issues, but obviously, you know, I'll always behave myself in that. So, yeah, should be all good. Yeah, no, the Napoli first half was poor. Trust me, bro, I was there. I've not forgotten that Napoli first half either. I've not forgotten the Napoli first half either. I really haven't. I really haven't forgotten that Napoli first half. Yeah, don't you worry. I've not forgotten it. Yeah, I wouldn't be. Well, I wouldn't be against the same lineup as Villa either. I absolutely wouldn't be against that. Let's get into a team. Let's get a team up. Let me just do this now, and we'll go through the lineup. By the way, this is the team that I'd like to see. This is not the team that I think Rossini will pick. This is the team that I want to see. Yeah, no, I was there. I've seen us beat PSG 3-0 and lift that Club World Cup. I was there in New York in the summer. So, yeah, let's hope for the same. I don't think he will. Rossini at Strasbourg against PSG, played 3 times, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. And that was obviously with a much lesser side than PSG. Let's get the team up. Personally, for me, I would go Sanchez in goal. I really don't think Jorgensen is all that. But if you're asking me what I think Rossini, if you're asking me what I think Rossini is going to do, I think Rossini is going to play Jorgensen. Because otherwise, why is there no Jorgensen in the squad? If Jorgensen wasn't going to play against PSG, why didn't he start against Wrexham? I genuinely think that Jorgensen will be in goal tomorrow night. Which is anything but ideal. Right back for me, I'm going to go Malo Gusto because I want Reece in midfield alongside Caicedo. So I'm going to go Gusto right back. If anyone disagrees in the chat, let me know. I'm going to go Fofana and Trevor Chalobah as the centre-back pairing. And then Cucurella left back. Even though Hato's done very well recently. We're going to go Cucurella left back. Midfield, Caicedo. And James. Because Lavia is not going to be ready to start a game again after starting against Wrexham. Neither is Sugu, certainly not ready to start a game. And the reason why... By the way, does anyone disagree with Gusto at right back and James in midfield? Because for me, the reason why I would do that over Sanchez, I know Sanchez knows Ligue 1 well. I know he knows played against PSG. I know he's, very. I know that he's very capable. But for me, I think it was telling that he went with Reece in midfield against Villa because uh, because because against Arsenal, it was a physical battle in there. Santos wasn't bad against Arsenal, by the way. It was just one of those where I think, I'm not saying he's not got the physical attributes, but I just think physically the game could get away from him a bit at times. And so I'd rather go with Reece James in that midfield. We saw it work very well in the Club World Cup final, Reece James in the midfield. So I think that's something that we need to look at going with again. It's absolutely something we've got to look at going with again. I wouldn't be against Santos in there if it does end up being Santos, but I would rather, me personally, I would rather it be Reece James in the midfield. That's what I would prefer. But I'm not going to suddenly think, oh my God, it's an absolute disaster if he plays Santos and James plays at right back. No issue with that at all. No, I agree. You've got Santos, you've got Lavia, you've got Asuga, you've got like decent options off the bench in midfield. I don't think anyone would be surprised if Jorgensen starts because he wasn't in the squad against Wrexham. So it kind of indicates that's where he's at. I think the really interesting one will be who starts against Newcastle on Saturday night. Who starts against Newcastle on Saturday night, I think, is going to be very interesting. But Caicedo and James there. I'm then going to play Cole Palmer on the right. Enzo Fernandez in the 10. I know for a fact that Garnacho's not starting. Well, as I say, I know for a fact. I'm 99.9% certain Garnacho won't start and it'll be Neto on the left because Garnacho has played 90 against Villa and 120 against Wrexham. However, for me, I would play Garnacho on the left because he's in form, his confidence is up, and he's been better than Pedro Neto over the last few games. I would genuinely go with Garnacho on the left. I really would. Does anyone disagree with me on that? Does anyone disagree with me on that, by the way? Garnacho starting on the left. I think we probably know it's going to be Pedro Neto, but for me, I would prefer Garnacho because he's in much better form. I genuinely prefer Garnacho. I think it would be much better. Oh, bro, the bench has got like 9 people on it. I think it's just everyone, everyone. I think everyone makes the bench, pretty much. And then you go Joao Pedro up front. I think that's a decent team. I think that for me personally, for this game tomorrow, on form and who can play and stuff, I think that's our best team. I honestly think that's our best team. Yeah, maybe, but you've got Caicedo who can move across and cover that space. You've got Cucurella who's very good defensively. Bro, Esteval's not in the squad. He wasn't even in open training. So I don't think there's anything about secrets or anything like that when it comes to Esteval. I don't think there's anything. Yeah, but unfortunately, you have to realise that in the modern game, the defensive part of it for a winger is really, really important. The defensive part of it is really, really important. Um, by the way, I'm not against Pedro Neto starting. I would just go with Garnacho because he's in better form. But I fully understand in a big game like this, the defensive side of the defensive side of things is very, very important, and so it probably will be Neto. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe Colwill could play some minutes in the final couple of games of the season potentially, but there shouldn't be a rush to get him back. Yeah, no, I did say that, and I'm aware of that. But if I was in charge, this is the team that I'd be picking. But I think we know it's going to be Jorgensen in goal, and it'll be Pedro Neto on the left. But other than that, I think this will be the team. I think this will be the team, chat. No, I really do. I don't see there being much difference. I genuinely don't see there being much difference to this team. The only changes I could think of are Neto, Sanchez, and maybe Santos and James drops to right back. No, bro, I wouldn't be taking any players. Maybe you take that Mateus Mane from Wolves, the youngster, but again, we don't really need him. But no, I wouldn't take any players from Spurs, Burnley, or Wolves. No, none. Yeah, look, Somerville. It's taken them a couple of years to get going, but Somerville is now starting to look like the player he was in that final season at Leeds in the Championship. It's taken him a while at West Ham, but he's now starting to he's now starting to look like that player. He's starting to look like that player. He looks very good. He does look very good. There's no denying that whatsoever. He does look very good. No, I don't think so anymore. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I wouldn't take Kudus now. We don't need Kudus anymore. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say that Gittins is finished and he can't be a success at Chelsea. He's been poor this season, but I'm not going to give up on players after a season. But if we're not seeing much of an improvement next season, then we will have to we will have to cut our losses. It's as simple as that, unfortunately. But I don't think West Ham will go down. That's why I'm not saying anything about Somerville. But look, I probably would take Somerville. But the reason why I didn't mention it is because I don't think West Ham are going down. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I think Simmons will go if Spurs go down. Then I think Simmons will just go somewhere in Europe. In my opinion, I think he'll just go somewhere in Europe. No, wouldn't take any Spurs players. None. Absolutely not. We don't need any of them. They're shite. I wouldn't take a single one of them. But anyway, that is the team. That is the team that I would go with, chap. In terms of your score predictions, people, bro, Kulusevski's not played football for well over a year. Yeah, but bro, what is a fit Kulusevski? I actually think Spurs are going down. I didn't think it at the time because I had the points on the board. But after they lost that Crystal Palace game at home, that for me was the changing point where I'm like, these guys are in freefall. The fans haven't got the fight for the relegation battle. The players have not got the fight for it. The manager doesn't really know what he's doing, doesn't know the league. I think Spurs are gone, bro. I genuinely think Spurs are gone. I really think that is the case. No, I wouldn't take Romero. I wouldn't take Romero. He's rash. He picks up a lot of red cards. He's a bit of a liability. You can't rely on him. So no, I wouldn't be taking him. No. Yeah, but for what reason though? Because you've got Enzo, Caicedo, Santos, Lavia, Asugu. Why do you need Bergval? You don't need Bergval. Bro, Gittins has been arse. Like, as simple as that. Hato could have had more opportunities for sure. He could have had more opportunities and probably should have done. Um, I agree with you on that. Yeah, you absolutely could. You absolutely could. But for me, as much as I'd love Forest to go down, um, I think they've got enough to get out. Both them and West Ham are playing much better football. Um, but I think, look, for me, Murillo, Rios is at Benfica. I think he had a good Copa America a few summers back. Um, I don't really know what Rios has been doing this season at Benfica. If he's still at Benfica, I presume he's still at Benfica. Yeah, that's the big one. If Spurs lose that, I'm 95% sure that I think Spurs will go down. If they lose to Forest at home, then I think they're definitely gone. If they lose to Forest at home, I think they're cooked. I think they're absolutely cooked. If they lose at home to Forest. Chat, we're 15 likes away from 100. Please run it up. There's over 120 in the building. Let's get these final 15 likes chalked off. Please do smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let's get these final 15 likes done. So yeah, make sure you run it up, people. Run it up. I don't think so. Yeah, look, I'm sure there's a lot of things that went on that he didn't like, or weren't fair, or that Chelsea didn't treat him very well. I can absolutely imagine that being the case, but you can caveat that by saying that, bro, you had opportunities to leave in the summer and you didn't take them, or you waited for Monaco and that move fell through, and that's kind of not Chelsea's fault. But yeah, I'm sure there are moments where he's just like, yeah, this is not, this was bad. Yeah, we played Tottenham second to last game of the season. There's a genuine possibility that we could send Spurs down. Obviously, we need to check the results and make sure the results go in our favour. But there's a genuine possibility we could send Spurs down, which would be mental. No, I don't believe so. He wasn't in training. I think they'll beat Leeds at home. Leeds aren't good, but Wolves away. I don't see them winning there either. Yeah, maybe they will. Yeah, the Sassi's on loan. He's on loan. And you know what? The Sassi's a good defender. It's just that he doesn't suit our system at all. He doesn't suit the system, But the Sassi's not a bad defender. He just doesn't suit the system. Yeah, that's where we're at on that one. Yeah, I hear it. I hear it. But we'll have to get them from someone else. Yeah, it's so difficult to tell because all of us are so inconsistent. Us, Villa, Liverpool, and United. 1 week you can think one thing, and then the next week you can think something totally different. That's the problem. That is the problem. Big up to you, bro. Yeah, maybe they do. Bro, Villa's record at United is awful. It's worse than ours, I think. I wouldn't be confident of Villa beating United. I think we do beat Newcastle. But I don't think that I don't think Villa beat Man United. No. Yeah, the top four, top five race is definitely more interesting. Us to send Spurs down and Arsenal to win the league. Spurs win against Survivor to win against us, and City win the league. No, Arsenal are going to win the league at some point. You know, I'm not losing to Spurs, and they survive. So yeah, no chance. We're not taking that. But bro, that's such a simplistic view. It doesn't work. It doesn't work like that. That's not how football works. You know, it just isn't. Yeah, providing we pick up points before that game, though. Providing we're in a position where if we beat them at the bridge, we can overtake them. Otherwise, you know, it's not great, is it? Otherwise, it's not great, chat. Yeah, we're both teams defensively are letting a lot of goals in, So yeah, I agree. It's not great. Yeah. But chat, let me know your score predictions. What are you saying for this first leg? For me, we just got to make sure we're still in the tie. If we do lose, make sure you don't lose by more than a goal. But I think we can get a draw. I can see this being a 1-1 or a Desmond. I really can. I can see this being a 1-1 or a Desmond. I really can. But let me get your thoughts in the chat. What are we saying here? 2-1 PSG, 2-1, 2-1, 1-1, 3-1 Chelsea. Desmond, 2-1 Chelsea. Heart says 3-1 us. Head says a 1-1 draw. Fair. Hope Rossini is brave. Yeah, I hear it. 3-0 Chelsea, 1-1, probably 2-1 PSG. Sanchez of a bozo moment. Oh, bro, it's the boring one. Dad supported the team, and that was that. You know, pretty much same as everyone. 2-2, 3-1 to end Maresca big game hype. Okay. Yeah, but bro, a League One game's totally different to a Champions League last 16 clash. Bro, I think Jorgensen will be playing against PSG. 1-1. Draw for the away leg. If we're lucky, just will be up for it. Yeah, I think a draw. I think this game will end 1-1. Personally, that's my opinion on it. This game will end 1-1. And that's fine by me. That's fine by me. I haven't got any problem with that whatsoever. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Chat with 5 likes from 100. Let's get those final 5 likes boxed off. 2-1, 3-2. Bro, I'll be honest, I don't think we're going to win the Champions League. But Champions League, you never know. FA Cup, we actually have got a half-decent chance. We have got a half-decent chance of winning the FA Cup. We've got a half-decent chance of winning the FA Cup, chat. So we will see on that. We will see on that. Bro, I don't believe anything in the Verbruggen or Roofs links. I don't believe anything in that. I still think Penders needs another season or 2 at Strasbourg. But yeah, we'll see. I don't see us signing a goalkeeper this summer, in my opinion. But you know, that could be different. Things could be different on that front. You never know. Yeah, he took part in team training today. By the way, he's still a long way off returning. He's still a long way off retraining. Bro, Tosin will play against Port Vale. I think we know that's going to happen. But anyway, chat. I am going to round this one out here. Big up to everybody who tuned in. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Make sure you smash the likes. Make sure you smash the like button. We're 4 likes away from 100. Please smash that like button. Let's get these final 4 likes boxed off on the way out. Hit the subscribe button if you are new round here. That would be greatly appreciated. And guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I will be going to I'll be going to Paris tomorrow, chat. So there'll be some content from the ground and stuff. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But yeah, chat, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the game tomorrow night, wherever you are watching it. Let's hope for a positive result to bring back to that second leg. And I will see you lot on Thursday. So big yourselves up. Love for the support as always. Up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.